my mic was off. This whole time I was talking and her mic was off. This is what happens when you do impromptu. So I'm just looking down on my screen to make sure I can hear myself. My mic was off. This whole time I was talking and my mic was off. Here we go. All right, we're good. Oh man, when you're running a one-person show, it can be a little difficult, a little challenging to make sure that everything is running the way it's supposed to be, the way you want it to look like. And so anyways, as I was saying, I wanted to just do a little hop on and do an impromptu live stream. And I know some of you may be catching up. I'm looking kind of at the countdown here and see who's watching live. When you impromptu things, sometimes you forget to turn things on. So I started the stream and didn't have the setting to public. And so I'm over here streaming and nobody can watch it. So I forgot to change the setting from private to public. So I did that. And then I started talking. I can hear myself, but there was no audio coming through because I had the mic muted in the system. So I think I got everything kind of worked out right now. And as I was saying, if you're just joining me, I'm just getting started here. I wanted to hop on and just do like an impromptu live stream. Got some new gear that I'm testing out. So I want to share with you some of that new gear. And if there's any questions, if anybody hops on and is interested or wants help with something, or just has a general question about like Adobe Spark or Adobe Rush, or just in photography or video, I figured, hop on here for a bit and use some of this gear that I have, and then share a couple things too that's going to be happening to this, not so much the channel, but happening with myself and family wise. Exciting things, but things are going to be changes are going to happen in 2021. Some good changes. Looking forward to it. And so I was going to just kind of hop on here and share some of that. So I guess what I'll start with is kind of talk. First off, pretty excited about some of this new gear that I'm using here. The first thing here is, and again, I didn't have any cards set up, like pop up with text or anything, because I did this impromptu. But I have some new gear in that. One of the gear that I actually got right before the end of the year was this device here that I'm using to kind of do the production piece here. So this is called an Atom Mini Pro, which is made by Black Magic Design. And I'm not sponsored to say anything here, so this is basically just myself. Purchase this gear because I actually want to. This year, 2021, I got some plans, some ideas that I want to do. One of those is to actually offer a course, an online course. So be on the lookout. Actually still developing the course and hopefully have that set up before spring. And I'm excited about that. So that's kind of what some of this gear for that, as well as also for production on my YouTube stuff. But also want to venture out and doing some outside video production as well. So, I live in Burleson, Texas, which is just south of Fort Worth. And so right now I'm limited to this area, but hopefully in the future is to kind of venture out into other places. Let me mute my phone here. And so this gear right here allows me to do things like this right here. So let me see. And again, I'm still kind of playing with this, but I've got, let's see if I can get this set up right. Let's see if this works. Let's see. So if I do this right here, it'll switch off to my other camera, which I have over here on my right. So I'm still looking straight at this camera, but I can turn. So I've got two cameras set up right now, and this is one of those things that what is it, production value. And I want to kind of expand on some of the video work that I do. I've done live streaming in my previous places of work, and I had some gear, Blackmagic design gear, and had cameras there, and I've been wanting to get some of that gear and some additional cameras. So I actually got an additional camera before the end of last year as well, to be able to do some more video production. And so this is kind of one of those things where I'll do this and really neat and switch out the cameras like that seamlessly by just pressing this button. So that's what this Atom Mini Pro does. I call it Atom, or ATEM, ATEM. And that is what I'm using here to kind of do my video production. And if I want to, I can actually, let's see, I could actually show you, let's make sure I press the right one here. I can actually show you what's going on the back end here. So I can share with you my computer. So right now you're actually looking at kind of like the production screen here. So this is kind of the Atom software, ATEM software control. So these buttons for the different cameras. So I've up to 4 cameras here, and one of them is actually the computer. So I have the computer plugged in here. I can actually plug in an iPhone as well, or any device, as long as it has an HDMI output. So with the iPhone, I'll have to do something along the lines of an adapter. So like the iPhone pretty much use something like this right here with the lightning adapter, and then I can plug in an HDMI and plug it straight into the ATEM Mini. So I can actually demonstrate on my iPhone. I can use my iPad as well. So basically anything, again, that has an HDMI output. I can use my Android device too. Or I can have up to 4 cameras. Right now I've only got 2 cameras. Future wise, yeah, eventually I do want to get another set of cameras, so to have 4 cameras. And right now, let me switch off over here. Let's see. So we got number 1 over there. Let's see. We'll switch over here and look at the camera right here. And with this one right here, so basically I have this one set up on an arm, so I could actually kind of move this here. And if I want to, I can kind of do a bird's eye. Let me straighten that back out. I can kind of do a bird's eye view of the top if I want to, or just leave that there to the side, and just when I'm switching off between cameras, I can go straight here, and then just kind of during the time I'm talking, I can just casually just press a button here and continue talking, looking like I'm straight at the camera here, kind of like that interview style, like as if someone were standing in front of me and I'm talking to them. And then when I want to, I can come back and switch off and go back to the camera that's in front of me here. So this is a really neat device here. It is probably, let me see, I'm going to try to do I can't pick it up just because I have all the stuff plugged into it. So I would say it's about 10 inches long and about 4 inches. So like 4 by 9. So I'd say it's about that big. And basically it's a whole production studio there. You can, again, have up to 4 cameras or 4 HDMI inputs. So it can be cameras or anything, again, that has an HDMI. And then I have audio plugged into here as well. That's running from this right here, this mic, to my mixer, and then just everything plugged in. Now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let me get this set up here so you can kind of see the setup here. So I'm going to, it may be backwards when I move this here. So you may get a little bit of flicker here. Let me swap this out. And let me do a swap out. So what you're looking at, and again, it's not, the camera's not set up where you can see it horizontal. So you're kind of looking at it upside down. So again, here are the buttons here. So when I press the auto right here, it'll switch out. So right now the camera in front is looking at me, and then I switch out. So you can kind of see right here now, you're seeing it's kind of flashing because of the I'm shooting actually in 24 frames per second. I probably should have done 60, so that's why it kind of looks like that. So let's swap this back out, and let's put this guy back over here. So let me get this set up right. And let's push this back. It's kind of close to where it should be. This magic arm. We'll play with it. And right about there. All right, so now I'm back. So I can look at this camera or swap out, look at that one. So this is, again, my setup for live streaming, and I can actually use this for video production as well. So I can just use this simply to record, swap out cameras, do all that, add lower thirds, and then record to like an external hard drive or a flash drive, and basically get all that done. So, and then I drop it into a video editor and really not have to do a whole ton because the camera angles have already been used and all the wording has been added, like the lower thirds or any pop-up text. So I can do all that here without having to do a lot of post-production, which is really cool. But mainly I'm going to be using it for live streaming and some video production. The other thing, that some new gear that, so basically when I shared this on Instagram, I also shared on Twitter and Facebook, is I want to share some new tech, some new gear that I've been playing with. And so the other piece is actually this mic right here that I've been actually saving up for this one. I've been looking at this one, this Shure. It's made by a company Shure, S-H-U-R-E, and the company is not paying me to say that, so I actually did purchase this mic, and it just sounds great. There's not a lot of hiss in this mic. I actually have it turned up fairly well, and really didn't do any adjusting on the mixer. This is basically just raw, straight from the mic, but this just sounds incredible. I'm really liking this mic. So I was using an Audio-Technica before, which was also a great mic. This one just, I would say, it just blows the other one out. Not to say the other one's not great, but I'm really liking this mic. So I've got to put the other one for sale soon. So if you're interested, if you want to purchase the Audio-Technica, you can send me a DM. We can make you work out a deal or something. Otherwise, I'll just post it on some shopping site like eBay or something like that. But yeah, this really great mic. And one of the other things that I'm going to show you this right here. I posted this before, but this Compass boom arm. Again, everything that I'm kind of saying, no one's paid me to say it, so no sponsorship here. But this is made by Blue. They make those little snowball microphones. So it's boom arm. So I'm using that for this microphone. I'm also using it for the other camera that I'm looking straight at right now. So I have that set up. So as you saw me, as I moved it forward and backwards. So this is great because I can do things like that. You know, move it in close to me here, and move it away, and it's great. And depending on how much tension you put on it, you can leave it kind of pretty much where it is, like this mic. It pretty much just kind of drops right back in place here, and it just makes some adjustments like that. So really great. I'm enjoying that. And so now some other tech gear here that I been kind of playing with. So this other one right here, I'm going to actually turn it on and see if you notice anything. Let's see here. So this right here, I'm kind of looking straight at the camera right now. I have a slider right now on my camera. One of the cameras is on a slider right now, so it's actually automated. So it's going to be going back and forth as I do this live stream. So it's basically this rail system, and it's got like a little carriage that sits on top of it, and you set it up, and basically this little remote, or I should say, point this right here. It's a remote, but it's cabled, and basically have a starting point and an end point, and basically it just goes on this rail on its own, back and forth. I have it set up to loop, and so basically what that does is I can do this production one person and just set that up, and basically this will just go back and forth throughout the whole video. So when I swap out the look here, switching to camera, and what will happen is as this whole time the other camera is actually sliding on this slider rail system, and I can swap back out and bring it back in. So you may not be able to tell a whole lot that it's sliding, maybe just a little bit. If you look at the picture behind me right here, you can kind of see how much space. So it is slowly, very subtle, a subtle transition. So I didn't do it too drastic. I just wanted a very simple transition here. So that's it. That's a slider there. And I'm kind of look through here, see if I got somebody that joined here. Whiskey Sours joins. Thanks for joining. So some of the other gear that I'm kind of playing with here is the next one is actually this Osmo Action. It's a kind of the competitor to GoPro, and I used to have a GoPro Session, which is kind of like a little cube. And I do mountain biking. There's not a lot of mountains here in Texas, so more like trail riding on a mountain bike. And so that little cube I used to set up underneath the helmet or would clamp it onto the bike. Some of the things I didn't like about it was there was not a way to, just some of the features like not being able to see. It didn't have a screen so I can know where I'm at within view of the Session or the GoPro Session. It was kind of like a mini. And so I sold it and I was looking through, and DJI makes some great gear. I have one of their drones. I have one of their gimbals. And so it's a pretty reputable company. And so I went with the Osmo Action. And last week, I would say about a week and a half ago, we had a very rare snowfall here in Texas, which doesn't happen a ton. Well, at least here where I live. There are some areas that maybe get a little more than the Fort Worth area, but last Sunday, not this one, but before, we had about 2 inches of snowfall. And so I took my Osmo Action out and took some pictures and video with it. So I was kind of just getting inspired to use it some more. I haven't been using it a ton, and so I thought, let's see if I can do some vlogging with it. So one of the nice things about it is see how small and compact it is. So I have it on a handle here, a little tripod. This is actually from the it's a DJI. It's I'm trying to think. Oh, it's a gimbal. I can't even think of the Ronin. There we go, the Ronin SC. So this is like one of those tripods that comes with it. I just added this ball head, this little adapter, and then I went and got this cage. I did a little bit of research on YouTube and picked up this cage. So I'm going to do a little close up here so you can kind of see it there. Look at the back. And as I was talking about, so you got the screen here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on here. And so you can see the screen right there. And there's some commands. So if I say switch screen, so now the screen's up in the front. And so I can stream, or I should say vlog, switch screen. Switch screen. There we go. So now I can do it from the front like this. And so I was playing with it, and I thought, what would the audio? It's got its own built-in microphone, and it sounds good. Or I should say, it sounds okay, not great. When you're out mountain biking, I really don't need to worry too much about sound because you'll hear a lot of rustling from the trees or leaves or dirt, the tire hitting the dirt, grunting as I'm jumping or falling. And I thought there's got to be a way to use kind of a mic like this. This is the Rode Video Micro. And so did a little research online, and there's an adapter that you can plug in with USB-C. And so I tested it out. It sounds great. Really impressed by how the quality of the audio. Now, this is a great mic. That's the auto record here. Let me turn that off. The quality, this is a great mic, but actually the inputting there or plugging it into here, how it improves the audio from it was just great. I guess I must have a keyword that told it to record. And my next thing is right here. There's another spot. So I moved that. There's a cold shoe mount right there, which I will probably end up using for like an external light. So if I want to vlog early in the morning or when it's a little dark or indoors, I can turn that on and just get a little bit more light. So this is kind of pretty excited about to start playing with this. One of my goals this year, which I didn't do a ton last year, was really to get more into the vlogging. You know, I do my YouTube channel. I do a lot of work on there. Let me turn this off. And so I really want to get back into vlogging. I do blog every once in a while, but not as often. And I just I would say I enjoy sharing content and, you know, teaching others. But just the writing part I struggle with. It's not as easy to, I would say, write down the words. I can get the words out. Just I think maybe my family says I'm a perfectionist, so maybe I just take too long and too many edits. And finally, when I get to the point where I'm ready to share, I'll still edit some more. And I guess that's why I take a little bit longer to get content written. So vlogging is a little more easier for me. One, it's video, which I enjoy doing, and I can speak the words and record and then just post it. So it's a little faster, but so I want to get a little bit back into some more vlogging. I've got some things that I'll be sharing. In fact, I'll kind of maybe segue to that piece where I will be doing some more vlogging about, and that's I'm actually going to be leaving this space here. I'm going to be moving houses. So we actually put our house on the market right about after Thanksgiving, and we're packing up. So I actually did moved a ton of stuff from my office already. The lockers back here were full of gear, and I've already packed a ton of it. I think I only have one locker left with some stuff in there, and all that stuff that's on top of my locker, which is all those figures right here. Okay, point to them up here. All that stuff I got to start packing too. So I've actually been collecting action figures. I used to collect a ton when I was a kid, and we sold them all. And so with regret, I wish we had not sold them. First of all, they're worth a good amount of money now, but now I'm just kind of slowly reacquiring some of these toys that we got rid of. So I'm a Star Wars fan, so a lot of those are Star Wars toys, and not going to break the bank, and then really not going to buy stuff to make a ton of money on it, and really not make any money on it. Just really want to collect things. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I'm looking right here. We got a question. What are the lights you have at the back on the unit? They look sick. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, vlogs are challenging. I totally forgot about the chat here, but let's see. Paige, are you talking about these lights right here? I would say, let's see here. So these right here, in fact, let me see if I can pull this up, and I'll just do this. It may be hard to tell, but this is red. Set up red. And then my other one is set up as blue. And so those are my LED lights that I have set up behind me. Again, I have one red and one turned to the blue. So basically it's by the RGB colors. So I think it's like 245s for the blue and then 3 something for the red. And so I have that set up behind me. I just like the way it adds the mood for videos. And so when I record my YouTube videos, I actually have them both set up to blue. And when I've been doing with the live, I've kind of been switching off, adding the red there. And I've actually been taking some pictures that I've been posting on Instagram with red and blue. I just like the way it looks. It looks pretty neat. Oh, yeah. I have seen gamers put those in the corners of their rooms. And they look great. It really adds a nice mood to your background. So before I used to just use plain fluorescent shop lights, which were great. And so slowly, as my channel has grown, I've been using some of the, I would say monetization from videos, and just kind of growing the gear that I've been using in my office or in my studio here. So as I was kind of on the train of thought of those toys back there. So actually, I don't actually have it on right now, but back there in between the toys, I actually have a strip of LED light that I usually will plug into a battery pack. See, I'll plug it into like a battery portable power pack, and it's USB. So I just plug it in. So whenever I record videos, I'll plug it in, and it kind of adds a little bit light to some of those action figures back there. So it's really cool. But eventually, like I said, I'm going to actually start packing some of that gear. So some of my videos I still have recorded. I do batch recording. So I'll record maybe 3 videos in one session so that I have a good number to kind of fall back onto. So I'm actually going to try to record probably about 5 or 6 this next time around, because we're going to be moving at the end of this month. So I won't have really a lot of time to record. So that way I'll have kind of some videos on cue there so that I can just go ahead and edit. The editing piece is, I can do it anywhere. It's the recording part. So yeah, so I'm actually going to be kind of sad, because this is a really cool, space that I've actually learned how to do a lot what I'm doing now. And I would say this past year and a half, 2019 is really when or 2018, but 2019 really started picking up, getting this really going. And then, when the closure started, really started to kind of put it just in overdrive to get stuff done. So I packed up a ton of my lights. I have other, like right now I'm using an umbrella up here with a LED light. And so I have other gear. So I have a box. I packed up a bunch of lights. So because we're going to put a bunch of stuff in storage, because we're going to move in temporary housing, because my house won't be finished until May or June. So I kind of want to share a little bit about that, because that's kind of excited about, because that's going to be one of the things I'm going to be vlogging about. And it is I'm going to have an actual when we were looking at our house, and my wife was like, my family is super supportive of what I'm doing here, and I was like, I need a space to do like my work, my videos. And I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can switch cameras here, and I'll maybe see if I can show you. That's my drum set right there. So I'm a drummer as well, and so I need a space where I can record my videos, and also record drums, record audio. And so I'm excited, because in the new place we're going to have the upstairs, it's like a flex room. And I think I would say it's not going to be double of this size, but maybe 1.5 times bigger than this. So I'll have more depth in there, and I won't be as tight. So what I did for this session right here, I had to move my table out, my desk, and I had set up some stands back here. So my idea is, I want to put this table on wheels. So whenever I record, I can just slide it out, and then have that nice depth of a field in my office upstairs, and then just slide this back in when I want to start editing, and just kind of leave some open space. So it's one of those things, again, that I'll be vlogging about, because you see it on paper, but once you see the place completed, then that's when it gets real, and you start looking at it. It's like, where am I going to put the space? I actually asked them not to put the ceiling light, so I don't have something, cutting off the area top. So I did ask them to put, instead of the ceiling light, to put a socket up there with plugs. So if I want to plug stuff from the ceiling, I can. So adding an extra data drop in there, make sure all the walls have power, outlets. So like really right now, because it's being built, they just laid the concrete. So I'm kind of thinking ahead. How do I want that to look? I want that space. one of the other things I'm thinking too is soundproof, and is, do I want to, there will be some good soundproofing because they have that insulation. I've had friends that got music recording studios, and they'll put double layers of drywall. I know I'm getting really like into the details here, but you can put an extra layer of drywall and it'll really deaden the sound, but then you lose space because you're adding almost an inch or 2 inches overall from the space. So, and 2 inches can make a big difference. So otherwise, what I may do is just have some sound panels in there. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, and then some rugs and stuff. So let me see, kind of look through it. Onward and upward made. Oh, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Looking here. Hey, I see William Jeffrey. What's going on, man? Here we go. What is your favorite sound down? Oh, great question. Thanks. Favorite. So what I did, and let me see. I'm gonna change cameras here. Let me bring this one in, and I'm gonna see if I can turn this. I'm going to show you this wall right here, and the mic is right here, but these are the windows that are in this office. So I have 2 windows, and so I built these frames. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark right there, but I'm going to try to point to that one. So I basically built them to fit in the in that space. So let me bring this camera back. Very like impromptu. That's what happens when you have a one-person show. You have to do that. Here we go. Let's go back to the front one. So I built those, built them in the garage, just framed them out, and I had, this is really funny. So when we moved here from California, U-Haul, not one of my favorite moving companies. Long story. I'll have to share it some other day. Maybe I'll do a vlog. That'll be one of my vlogs. But it's a long story. I'll cut it super short, but I had some moving blankets that were left here, and I've had them in the garage for years. And when it came time to build this, I was like, you know what? Those blankets were made out of recycled jeans, and they were perfect thickness. So what I did is just stack them, and I sprayed adhesive between them and stacked them, so kind of glued them, and then I just cut them out, and they fit perfectly in here. And so that's what I use for these sound absorbing panels. I don't know if I'll do that for the new place. I'm going to keep these. I may put these in a garage. I don't know, or use them kind of to wrap around my drums when I record. So I don't know, but I've seen some of those kind of, they look kind of like wavy corrugated foam. So I've seen some of those. I've looked around. So that's one of the things. So when when my new studio is built, I'll have to figure out what to do. But if you have any recommendations, I'm going to see bespoke cabling really breaks. Oh, bespoke. I'll have to look that up. Let's see, fixed or flexible sound panels. You know, so these are fixed into my window. So a lot of kids playing out there. This guy's got a truck out there. I haven't heard it in a long time, but he would just, I live in Texas, and love our trucks out here. And this guy used to drive through here, with those diesel engines. And so when I would record, sometimes I'd have to stop and wait for the guy to just kind of rev his engine. Okay, dude, get it over with. Hurry up. So, I mean, this does pretty well, and there's kids playing out there, and it does muffle them. So, I don't know. A buddy of mine that I was in a band with, he had some movable panels, and they were kind of like this. So he had them on wheels, so he'd move them around. I'm toying with that idea too. I just not sure. I guess I'll have to wait and see when I get there. I may do some fixed on the wall and maybe some movable. I don't know. I may turn these into movable ones. So let's see. Moving blankets. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, thanks, William. Appreciate it. So my cameras here. That's a great question. I haven't really talked about the cameras that I'm using here. In case you missed earlier, I'm not being sponsored by anyone. So all the stuff here pretty much has been paid for by myself. I'm out of the pocket. So I'm using Fujifilm, and these are XT3 models. 2000, I think I want to say in 2019. I think that's when I bought my first one, or 2000, at the end of 2018, or maybe at the beginning of 2019, I purchased one. And I went from Canon. I had a Canon 60D, which I had for years. I say probably 9 years. And it was, I mean, I loved it. I loved the 60D. It was great. I did a few of my first videos with that camera. And the glass wasn't as crispy as these are. These are super crispy. I love these lenses. But I couldn't do 4K. So that's really why I kind of went from Canon to Fujifilm. I love Canon cameras. They're great. I just, cost-wise, I was able to get more with the Fujifilm camera, the X-T3. And so basically, for the price of the camera with two lenses, two lenses, that was almost the price of just the Canon EOS R, which was the new mirrorless Canon at that time. So these are also mirrorless, but that was only going to be for the body of the Canon, and I would have still have to buy lenses. So, I thought I'm gonna switch a whole new. It's like switching from Android to iPhone or vice versa. That was going to be my battle. It's like, oh, I'm so used to the Canon interface, I'm gonna swap out. And so, but you know what? It didn't take me too long to figure it out. ISO is the same on all the cameras. F-stop, shutter speed, pretty much is the same. It's basically the same from every camera. It's just different where the buttons are, and then the interface is a little bit different. So I've gotten used to it, and I like it. It's great. Fuji does have great color. So Canon and Fuji are like my favorite. Sony makes some great cameras too. I've got a buddy that uses Sony, and I love his photos. I love that the shot. But cost wise, I think for me it was made more sense to go with Fuji. So if you're looking at Sony, they're great. They're great cameras. If someone wants to give me one, I'll take a Sony any day. So then last year I purchased the second X-T3. I did rent a X-T4. So Fujifilm came out with the X-T4 last year, and I was considering it. One of the things about the X-T3 that I wish they would have done is, so if this is the front of the camera like this, the panel, the LCD panel, only flips up and down like this or sideways. It doesn't come back towards you, so it makes it harder to do kind of vlogging. The Canon, the Fuji X-T4 has that, and it's got, you can film like 4K, I think at 120 frames per second, or it was a few extra features, and I thought, for the money, I couldn't go bad with the X-T3. So I rented the X-T4, and it was a bit, it was a little different. So I wasn't too comfortable with it. I thought, the X-T3 was on sale. And so I picked one up, saved about $500, which was a good sale off. And I already had lenses, so I was like, I just bought the body. So speaking of lenses, so I'll go ahead and talk about that here real quick. So the Fujifilm, the one I'm looking at straight is one of the Fuji lenses. It's 1855. And then this one over here is actually made by a company called Viltrox, Viltorx. And it's not like one of the higher end name brand lenses. And so actually, I'll show you, I actually have another one right here. I picked up this 85 millimeter f1.8. This one right here that I'm looking at is 1.4. I just love, for the price, and you couldn't go wrong. Now I can spend a lot more and get like name brand lenses, but I did my research on these, and I really like them. Now this one's great for portrait photo. I did use these for our Christmas card photos. It's great. I love it. And so that's what I'm using here is that Viltrox at 23 millimeter, and it looks super crisp. You can't go wrong with it. Let's see. Let me look at the questions here. Yeah, it's just clean. They're just so clean. Eventually, I'll probably get X-T4 at some point. But at the moment, I was like, you know what? Let me just stay with the same in Fujifilm platforms, all the same all across. But I thought, you know what? Let me just stay with the same model, so I don't have to learn a new, and just the new places where all the little features are at. So that's kind of where I went with, and I'm happy I did that. Oh, William, you have a couple Viltrox. You know, I'm really liking them, and they're very inexpensive. You know, gosh, I don't remember honestly what I paid for this one, but they're super nice and clean and crisp, and I love the way they look for like live streaming here. Oh, so focus on K12. Thanks for joining. So the movement of my camera right here. So I'm glad you noticed it. So actually, I talked about that earlier. I'm actually using a slider. It's Gvm. So I've actually been using a lot of their gear. They don't sponsor me, so actually for this, the Gvm slider, it's a what they call it, motorized slider. And let's see if I can bring this back into view. So this is actually the controller for it. So basically what I do is I just set the starting point and the end point, and then I adjust the speed. So actually it could actually go faster than this, but this is a nice kind of subtle speed. And basically I just set it to loop, so it just goes back and forth. And I don't actually have to have somebody sitting back there. So I've actually got some projects coming up where I'll be doing some working on some video projects, and I'll be using this actually to do kind of interview style. I'll have one that will capture like this as it's moving on its own, and then I'll have my other camera kind of looking at the person I'll be interviewing as part of the project. So looking forward to using that. But I thought, you know what, let me bring it out and use it. So I think it adds a really cool little feature to kind of like the live stream here. Well, what camera do you use for recording? I use the same ones. I use my X-T3, the Fujifilm X-T3. So I do love it. I usually right now I have the color profile set up to Fuji has, if you remember Fuji from way back, you know, I don't know how old you are here, but I go I go a little ways back. But, you know, we used to buy the film. So there was Kodak, and then there was Fujifilm, the actual film. So Fujifilm used to have kind of like the different packs. I think like, like the black and white. And then you would buy like, it's like a color profile. So this, the Fujifilm comes with its own color profile. So right now I have it set at Eterna. It's like a color profile. And so usually when I record my videos with this camera, I set it up to log format. So if you're familiar with log profiles, pretty much every Sony has their logs, Canon has log, Fuji has one. So Fuji's is called F log. I think Canon's is C log. I don't know. Does Sony have S log? I assume that's what it is. So right now for live streaming, I have it set up not to log format, just to its built-in color profile, and I just switch it to Eterna. It just looks clean. So, but when I record my YouTube videos, I usually shoot in log format, just because sometimes I haven't done it in a long while, but when I do go outdoors and shoot, I like to control the way my colors look, so that's why I shoot in log format. Let's see. Oh, hey, Simon, you are so welcome. Thanks for watching the videos. Appreciate it. Let's see. Springboard question. What computer? So I'm actually using an iMac here. Here at home, I use iMac. At work. So this is like my hustle stuff that I enjoy doing. Side hustle that really is almost like passion. I love doing this. It's just my passion. I love it. Labor of love. But I use a PC at work, but I really don't do a lot of editing on the PC. It's mainly just Google stuff and Word. But I do pretty much all my video work, even for work. If I do something for work, I'm fortunate where I can come home and record here in my studio, and then just take it to work. Or I'll use my iPad to do a lot of my work, my video work. I used to have a Canon. Like 60D. The US, I think, calls them like that, and I think in Europe they have like, I think, a different naming structure. I'm not sure what it equates to. I think it was like the Canon 850 or something like that. At one point I was looking at the Canon Mark 5 Mark 4 or something like that, but then when the mirrorless, if you're looking at a camera, I totally recommend going mirrorless. It's much lighter. If you go with Canon, just the mirrorless one, it's a lot more costlier than the Fujifilm, so that's why I like the Fujifilm cost wise to get into it. It's great. So yeah, so the next time you may see this video, I still will have some of my stuff in the back, but eventually I'm going to have to pack up all those things up there, all those action figures collections that I have up there, and pack them away and really just put them in storage until we have our place ready, and which I'm super excited, as I mentioned earlier. I'm looking forward to doing that. But hey, really, thanks for hanging. I didn't think I was going to take this long. I'm looking at here. I'm at 50 minutes, and some of you have been sticking around for a good while. I appreciate it, and for staying with me here. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to respond to it. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Thank you for joining. Just kind of doing an impromptu live stream. It's been a while since I did a live stream, so I thought, I wanted to do it. Plus, I'm getting ready to pack up all this stuff and move to either to an apartment or to a temporary or to another house for the meanwhile. So I got to pack up my drums, and I've already packed up a ton in here. So basically, my desk is probably going to go wherever I go. Cameras and computer, and pretty much like everything that's on my table. It's such a mess here. It's a crazy mess. And so that's what I'm also looking forward to my new place. I actually want to build kind of a long wall, and then this will kind of slide in, and then I can slide it out. I don't know. That's kind of my vision right now. You know what? Yeah, I was kind of thinking, yes, vlogging on my temporary place. I think I may do that, and then once we start getting to our new place, because it's going to be, bare walls. It's going to be nicely painted and everything, but then, I get to add my my kind of taste to the room. So I have this black wall over here, and I have a gray wall. Unfortunately, my lockers, I'm not going to have those in my new place. I am keeping the lockers, but we're going to be putting them in the garage, mainly because there's not a lot of my studio is going to be upstairs. And so the walkway, when I bought these from someone, and they were in their upstairs, and it was basically, my son was not old enough to help me, and I think my wife did help me at the time, but it was a struggle. So partly they won't fit trying to go up the stairs, and they are heavy. So I'm going to put them in the garage and just kind of use them to, I have actually the other half in the garage, so I actually have a whole wall of lockers, which I'll just be using for storage. So yeah, my vlogging will be that, and I actually thinking of starting another channel, which is going to be completely different from what I do. It's one of my passions is one of my many. My wife says I have too many hobbies. I'm a musician. Do all the video work and stuff like that. But I love woodworking, and so want to get back into doing some projects. And so part of the vlog will be to I'm going to build my own cabinets for the studio, display cabinet, desk, and storage and stuff like that. And so still trying to think of what I will do for my background, but yeah, it'll be a little bit of that. So thanks for the question. Do you think you can do, you have tips for Canon PowerShoot? So I've used it's been a long while since I used like a PowerShot. So it might've been a different model. If the PowerShot has manual, and I'm not sure if the Alpha 190 does, but if you have the ability to use manual on it, I'd definitely try to use manual if you can. Auto is great, but sometimes what happens with auto, you get the fluctuation of color, and then with manual you can adjust how much light and how much depth of field. So I guess my tip I would say is first see if your camera has a manual. So you have auto and manual. So if you can go to manual, then you can adjust the aperture, you can adjust ISO, which will be how much light is let into the camera, and then your shutter speed and all that. So my tip would be if you can go manual, do so. But the other thing that helps a ton with video, so Spring Boy, lighting is going to make a big difference. There are a ton of YouTubers that I follow. Sean Cannell, I'm not sure if I'm saying that last name right. He has a company called Think Media. Check him out on YouTube. He's like a serious YouTuber. He's one of the people I look up to, the work that they do. But you can start a vlog with a PowerShot. Those are great. I think they have one of those like in one of their kits. So I would definitely definitely use that for that as well. Remember, as I was saying, lighting makes a huge difference. So if you can invest in a light, these right here that I have behind me, I think I paid about $50 for just the single light. Let me bring this back up here. This will be kind of hard to see. So you kind of see the red on my face. And so this one you can switch the colors. Let me see if it looks better on this one here. See if it does. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to try to do that. So I've got kind of a green. So go back to blue. So it pretty much RGB. So all the colors of the rainbow. Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There we go. So I can go through all the colors. And then you can adjust the intensity. So like right now, I'm kind of looking at the down here. Whoop, too far. So you can adjust the intensity of it. So definitely check this again. As I was saying, this I think it cost me $50, and it totally makes a big difference in lighting. Definitely go with the lighting. Oh, I love that. Without the vision, people will perish. Hey, thank you so much, William. Oh man, to be in the same list as Think Media and Albert, I appreciate that very much, very much. Yeah, so slowly growing this channel, and I really appreciate all the people that subscribe to my channel and kind of hop on. You know what's funny is, percentage wise of the people that subscribe to my channel, it's really only like 2% of my subscribers watch my videos, which is really cool, because that means a lot of people are watching that are not subscribers. It would be cool if people don't subscribe. That's but it's interesting. I've looked at analytics and it's like, wow, I have a lot of subscribers, but I don't have I think maybe 7% of subscribers that watch. So interesting. Oh, so you want to get your pictures from your camera? I don't know what. If you have an iPhone, I'm not, or Android. It just depends. I have an iPhone, and Fujifilm has an app that you can like Bluetooth the pictures, and I'll use that when I'm out because I'll forget to take this with me. This right here is just one of those lightning adapters with an SD card slot. And I'll plug this into my iPhone, take out the card from my XT3, pop this in, and I can import it right into my photo album or into the Photos app. And then I use Lightroom to edit my photos. Lightroom is one of my favorite photo apps. So that's what I use to bring in the pictures. And because I'm not sure if Canon has an app, so you might be able to, you might look into that. Or again, if you have an Android, I'm not sure the Android. I have one, but I don't. I usually just Bluetooth. I'll send the pictures. I'll use Send Anywhere, and I'll just send them from my iPhone to my Android. Yeah, that's cool. You know what? I'll take it, Aaron. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty interesting that it works that way, but it's cool. And hey, I guess if I get more subscribers, that means just more people will watch all my videos. So it's really cool. But man, this has been amazing. I'm at an hour, so I've actually got a video I gotta edit for next week. It's my YouTube video for next week. I'm actually going to be I'll give you kind of a heads up. I'll give you a sneak peek as far as what it is. I don't have any work done on it yet, but I'll share with you what it's going to be. The video I'm working on is I did a whole new Adobe Spark tutorial, the web version of Adobe Spark Post. I didn't do page or video. It would make the video longer. But I did a walkthrough, a complete like 2021 version of Adobe Spark tutorial. The last full tutorial I did was probably about 3 years ago, and I've just been doing small ones. But this one basically I just walk through the whole interface of Adobe Spark. I go through the describe all the different tools in there, kind of from the home, the dashboard, and into each tool because they redesigned the layout. So I'm doing that it'll come out next Tuesday. So be on the lookout next Tuesday for new tutorials. So it's basically going to be probably a little bit longer than my normal videos, but that's because again, so it's a full length tutorial. So be on the lookout for that. And hey, appreciate it. I thank you so much, Spring Boy. Well, hey everyone, I'm going to get ready to kind of hang it up here. I'm almost like, I don't think I'm going to like break down my gear. I think I'm going to leave everything up because I'm going to probably try to do another live stream before we move. The hard part is finding the right day. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. It's finding the right day to do this. I've got something calling me here. I got to mute it. You know, there's so many people doing, amazing people doing some amazing work, and it's just trying to find that perfect day. Sundays are usually during football season are hard because it's football season, and it worked out Wednesday. But if I can continually do them on a certain day, who knows? It might work out. So hey, see, nice work. Yeah, a ton has changed in 3 years, and really good. Some good. Adobe Spark is one of my favorite apps that I use on my phone and on the computer. It's an amazing app. You can get a lot of stuff created and shared immediately, fairly quickly on social media. So if you are creating content and need to share, definitely try out Adobe Spark. Check out my videos. And hey, thank you for hanging out with me here. Appreciate it. I don't have an end screen here, so it's probably just going to be a hard cut to. Let me see. Let me see. I think I'm gonna do this one, see if it works. But thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you all. And hey, check out again, if you're not, I think you've already seen my YouTube channel, but check out my website too. I am claudius.com. Check out my website. Connect with me there and connect on social media. And if we want to do a collaboration together, let me know by all means. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your evening if you're depending on what time zone. Have a great rest of your evening, afternoon, or morning if you're watching from another part of this world. One thing I always want to share with everyone is be good to one another. Peace. I'm out.